Have you ever ripped open a cup of instant noodles, poured in hot water, waited 3 minutes, and never once thought about the incredible journey that little cup took before it reached your hands? What if I told you that inside every single cup of instant noodles, there is a hidden world of giant machines, roaring ovens, steaming tunnels, and factory workers moving faster than you can imagine? What if I told you that some factories make so many cups of noodles in a single day that if you stacked them all on top of each other, they would be taller than a skyscraper? Sounds unbelievable, right? But it's true. And by the end of this video, you will never look at a simple cup of noodles the same way again. So stay with me, because this journey from plain white flour to your favorite steaming cup of noodles is one of the most fascinating manufacturing stories in the entire food industry. Before we dive in, if you enjoy learning how everyday things are made, do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because trust me, this video is going to answer questions you never even thought to ask. The story begins with flour. Every single cup of instant noodles you have ever eaten started its life as something incredibly simple: wheat flour. Huge trucks arrive at the noodle factory carrying tons of flour, and this flour is not just dumped onto the floor. It is pumped through giant pipes directly into massive storage silos, which look like tall metal towers standing outside the factory. These silos can hold enormous amounts of flour, sometimes enough to make millions of servings of noodles. The flour sits here, protected from moisture and dust, waiting for its turn to become something delicious. Now here's an interesting question for you. Do you know why flour is stored in silos instead of bags? It's because factories need a constant, non-stop supply of flour flowing into the production line. Imagine if workers had to open thousands of small bags every single hour. It would slow everything down. Silos allow the flour to flow smoothly and continuously into the mixing machines, keeping the entire factory running like a well-oiled machine 24 hours a day. Mixing and kneading, where the magic starts. Once the flour is ready, it travels through pipes into giant mixing machines. Here, it is combined with water, and in many recipes, a small amount of oil and other ingredients like salt or alkaline mineral water, which is often called kansui. This special water is actually one of the secrets behind the noodle's unique texture and slightly yellow color. It helps make the noodles firm, chewy, and gives them that classic instant noodle bite that we all recognize. The mixing machines are enormous, with powerful blades that turn and fold the mixture over and over again. This process is called kneading, and it is extremely important. Kneading develops something called gluten, which is a stretchy, elastic substance found in wheat flour. Gluten is the reason noodles can be stretched, rolled, and cut without falling apart. Without proper kneading, the noodles would crumble the moment you tried to cook them. The machines knead the dough until it becomes smooth, soft, and perfectly elastic, almost like a giant ball of stretchy clay. Have you ever wondered how factories manage to make the dough taste exactly the same, cup after cup, day after day, for years and years? The answer is precision. Every single ingredient is measured by computers and sensors, down to the smallest gram, ensuring that the noodles you eat today taste exactly like the ones you ate last year, or the ones your friend eats in a completely different country. Rolling the dough into sheets. After kneading, the dough does not go straight into noodle shapes. Instead, it passes through a series of heavy rollers, one after another. Each roller squeezes the dough a little thinner than the last one. Think of it like flattening a ball of Play-Doh with a rolling pin. Except here, the rollers are made of solid steel and can flatten tons of dough every single hour without stopping. This step is crucial because the thickness of the noodle sheet determines the final texture of the noodles. If the sheet is too thick, the noodles will take longer to cook. Factory engineers carefully calculate the exact thickness needed, often thinner than a few millimeters, to create that perfect, familiar instant noodle texture that cooks in just 3 minutes. As the dough sheet gets thinner and thinner, it also becomes longer, stretching out like a giant ribbon moving through the factory on a conveyor belt. At this stage, it almost looks like a giant sheet of pasta, cutting and waving, giving noodles their shape. Now here comes one of the most fascinating parts of the entire process. The flat dough sheet moves through a cutting machine that has hundreds of tiny grooved rollers. These rollers slice the sheet into long, thin strands, creating the noodle shape we all recognize. But wait, instant noodles are not flat like spaghetti. They have those famous curly waves. Have you ever wondered why? As the cut noodle strands come out of the cutting machine, they pass through a narrow channel that moves slower than the noodles themselves. This causes them to bunch up into wavy curls. But these waves are not just for looks. They actually serve a very important purpose. The wavy shape creates small air pockets between each strand of noodle. These air pockets allow hot water to penetrate the noodles more easily and evenly when you cook them at home. This is why they cook in just 2 or 3 minutes. Steaming. Cooking before cooking. Once the noodles are shaped into their wavy strands, they move into a long steaming tunnel. Inside this tunnel, hot steam surrounds the noodles from all directions. This step is called pre-gelatinization, but let's make that simple. Steaming basically cooks the noodles partially. It softens the starch inside them and locks in that curly wave shape permanently. This steaming process usually lasts only a minute or two, but it completely transforms the noodles. Before steaming, the noodles were raw, pale, and a little stiff. After steaming, they become soft, slightly golden, and flexible, almost fully cooked already. Cutting into portions. After steaming, the long wavy strands of noodles are cut into individual noodle blocks, perfectly sized to fit into a cup. Machines measure and cut each block with incredible precision, ensuring that every single cup contains almost exactly the same amount anywhere in the world. Frying or air drying. Removing the moisture. This next step is one of the most important, because it determines how long the noodles can be stored before they go bad. Remember, instant noodles can sit on a store shelf for months without spoiling, and there's a clever scientific reason for that. The noodle blocks pass into either a deep frying machine or a hot air drying machine. In traditional noodles, the blocks are fried in hot oil for a very short time. This frying process removes almost all the moisture from the noodles, leaving behind that familiar light, crispy texture we associate with dry, instant noodles. Removing moisture is the secret to long shelf life. Bacteria and mold need moisture to grow. So by drying out the noodles, factories create a product that stays safe for months. Some healthier brands today use hot air drying instead of frying, which uses hot circulating air instead of oil, giving them a different, lighter texture. Isn't it amazing to think that this single step is the reason your instant noodles never seem to expire quickly? Cooling down. Straight after frying, the blocks are extremely hot. Before they can be packaged, they need to cool down completely. The blocks travel along a cooling conveyor belt, where powerful fans blow cool air over them. This step is important because packaging hot noodles would trap steam and moisture, which could ruin the noodles or cause them to spoil faster. Building the cup. Assembling your favorite snack. This stage happens on a giant automated assembly line, and honestly, it looks like something out of a science fiction movie. Empty plastic or paper cups move along a conveyor belt at incredible speed. Machines with mechanical arms place a single noodle block perfectly into each cup. Right after that, machines drop in small packets or sprinkles of seasoning, dried vegetables, dehydrated meat pieces, and flavoring powders. Everything is measured precisely so that your cup of noodles always tastes the same, whether it's the chicken flavor, the spicy flavor, or any other variety. Here's something that might surprise you. Some of those dried vegetable pieces like carrots, peas, or green onions are actually freeze-dried. This special process removes moisture while keeping color, shape, and nutrients intact. They stay dry until you add hot water, at which point they puff back up, sealing the cup. Locking in freshness. Once everything is inside the cup, it moves to the sealing machine. A protective film is placed on top and sealed tightly using heat. This seal is extremely important because it protects the noodles from air, moisture, insects, and contamination during shipping and storage. Think about it. Your cup of noodles might travel from a factory in one country, onto a ship or truck, through a warehouse, onto a store shelf, and finally into your kitchen. The seal is the only thing standing between fresh noodles and a stale product. That's why factories test the sealing process constantly, checking that every single cup is airtight. Quality control. The silent guardians. Before any cup reaches store shelves, it passes through strict quality control checks. Sensors inspect the cups for correct weight. Machines use cameras and sometimes even X-ray-like scanners to check for any foreign objects that should not be there. Random samples are pulled and taste tested by professionals to make sure the flavor, texture, and aroma match the company's exact standards. This is why your favorite noodle brand tastes exactly the same every single time. Nothing is left to chance in a modern noodle factory. Packaging and shipping. The final journey. Once the cups pass quality control, they are grouped together into larger boxes using automated packaging machines. These boxes are then loaded onto pallets, wrapped in protective plastic, and shipped out to warehouses and distribution centers around the world. From there, trucks, trains, ships, and planes carry these boxes to grocery stores everywhere, eventually reaching the shelf where you picked up your cup of noodles. If you really think about it, the journey from a truck full of flour to the cup in your kitchen involved dozens of machines, hundreds of quality checks, and incredible engineering. Instant cup noodles are eaten by people all over the world, from students and office workers to families. Billions of servings are consumed every single year. Understanding how something so simple involves such advanced technology really makes you appreciate everyday food in a whole new way. Next time you open a cup of instant noodles, remember everything we talked about today. Remember the flour, the kneading, the waves, the steaming, and the engineering. Food manufacturing is proof that even the simplest snack in your pantry can have an incredibly fascinating story behind it. If you learned something new today, make sure to smash that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next amazing video. Turn on the notification bell too, so you never miss an upload. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.